welcome to another episode of Real Estate Agent Rehab. We are at episode number 23 today, and we're going to be talking about how to maximize your exposure on your listings and your marketing.
Looking forward to jump into this topic.
I love this topic, and especially now since seasonal real estate's back, the market's kind of balanced. We need to kind of get back into, taking the opportunities of our listings and our marketing and taking them to the next level, touching as many people as possible to not only sell the listing, but to actually sell ourselves as realtors. Absolutely. And ensure we're maximizing those opportunities.
I'll jump on that real quick. And the first thing that you just said was not only sell our listing, but sell ourselves as well.
Exactly.
And no matter what, if you're working an open house or you have a brand new listing or what have you, we know the marketing is going into the listing. But in order to get more listings, we have to market ourselves to the public and say, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. And that's really where the marketing of yourself comes in, with personalizing your listing marketing. Unfortunately or fortunately, most of us focus more on the MLS and what we're putting on there and making sure that it's scrubbed clean of anything that has anything to do with our personal brand, as opposed to looking at other ways that we can get it out there and personally branding ourselves everywhere else.
Exactly. And that's kind of, MLS is just like the basics of what we all should be doing, right? And ensuring, like, with that, right, we're one way of marketing yourself on the MLS is ensuring that you have professional photos, right? A 3D tour, a floor plan, maybe a video tour as well. Making sure that you have a good write-up on the property. The property's priced well, so it actually sells. That's another big one, because you could do all those things, and if the property's not priced well, it's not going to sell. So ensuring that your listing looks the best, you've done all the marketing, you've checked all the boxes on the MLS. I think that's basic step number one.
That is, and then where it really goes in is actually using the branded sections to go into the web. Okay, so first and foremost, what you have to understand is whatever you write in the description in MLS is one thing. You can rewrite another description for the internet. And what I always do in there is I'll write in the description, reach out to Vance Mizzy, phone number 424-634-8492. Call me to see this listing. Now, a lot of times Zillow and the different companies will actually find that and they'll edit it right out.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What they can't edit out is your branded video. Okay, so if you're not making a video that has the property in it just as it stands for the MLS, you need to make another video of yourself introducing that property. Hi, I'm Vance Mizzy, realtor, just representing this property, blah, 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 going through it, explaining who you are. If you have any interest, call me, let's go take a look. And then you can cut to the unbranded video. But now Zillow, all these websites that are cutting out your information, can't edit your video. So if somebody's watching that video, they're going to see you, they're going to see who you are, and you just might get the phone call from that. That's one way to get yourself out on the net that's going to spider through all these different sites.
And then taking that video to the next level and then creating some sort of reel or TikTok or Google short, or what is a YouTube short, to then place on socials. So then now you can use that. You could sponsor that and then create a buzz and invite everybody, obviously, to the listing or to an open house event, and trying to maximize the exposure from that video to get your face and your name out there some more, right? And so your social media now is pretty much almost like your resume when it comes to real estate or anything else in the world these days. So you got to make sure that looks good too.
That's right. And when you want to think about that, if you're sending somebody to your social media site, to your Instagram, wherever you're sending them, they need to be aware, and it needs to speak of who you are. Okay, so if you're sending them to your website and it's not giving them the information that they want, it becomes irrelevant and they're not coming back. Okay, so that's one of the points. Something that we were touching on a couple weeks ago are the digital cards, right? The link trees, things to that effect, where you can have, What I have on my properties is I have a name rider, and it says for more information and a QR code. Okay? Now they're going to click that QR code. Where's it going to go? It goes to my link tree. Right? Would you like to download my information? Information about this property, information about other properties. How much is my home worth? Okay, these are all things in my link tree that people are going to go in and they're going to click on that, and that's going to come right to me and say, hey, this person is interested. They want to know more. It's another way to interact with people. And the beauty, one thing that came good out of COVID, QR codes. Okay, prior to COVID, we didn't have QR code, or we did, but used to have the QR code readers, and it was very difficult to use them. Now people see QR codes, and interest gets them to click it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, it's being able to use that technology is kind of the interest. Oh, I can just use a camera on my phone.
Yeah, let me see what
pull
this
up more
is.
information and things like that.
It opens a book, and how much information are you giving? Right? So now your link tree is this blank space. What are you going to tell them about it? Okay, do you have a landing page for your property? Do you have a separate landing page to go and send them just to that property, or you send them to your website and they're seeing all your listings?
And the other thing, once you have like all this media and you've done all this, and now you can create a mailer campaign, mm-hmm. you can create flyers for your listing, for material for door knocking, and then you get a farm, you've got email addresses, phone numbers, you got all this data of people in the area. Mm-hmm. And now you got to announce the listing, because the people that are in the neighborhood, the other people that own homes or might be renting out the area, now that's your audience, right? That's where you have to go attack and then take and maximize the exposure of this listing and use that listing as an excuse to connect with your neighbors, connect with your farm or the farm of that listing, to get in front of these people and let them know you're a neighbor and I thought you should be the first to know about this new listing. So now you have all of these other prospecting opportunities to get you going.
The biggest issue that agents have is they take a listing, they put a sign in the ground, and then they move on. And they go, okay, well, when that sells, I'll be okay. And they don't spend enough time focusing specifically on marketing that property. Mm-hmm. The postcard mailers, like you said, that's huge. Okay. Something I focus dramatically on is likely movers. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll run a farm. I just ran a farm the other day of 12,000 houses. Of those 12,000 houses, 300 are likely to move.
Wow.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email 12,000 homes, because it costs me nothing. But I'm going to mail, call, and put tons of love on 300 houses. Mm-hmm. Because they're most likely going to be the ones that do something. Mm-hmm. The other 12,000, if they do, great. I don't want to lose them. Mm-hmm. But I want to focus where my action and activity can be most substantiated. That's the same thing when we're marketing listings and doing these things. Who do we want to talk to? People who are looking to move.
Exactly. And with just breaking down mailers for a second, mailers give you this opportunity now. Let's say with the postcards, for example, and that's kind of an easy one to do. There's a lot of service providers like Breakthrough Broker, Prospect Plus, just a couple of them out there. If you just Google, real estate postcards, send out. You can go in and upload some pictures and create that media pretty easily. I think a teenager or almost a grade school student could do it. My 11-year-old daughter could definitely do it. And then now you've got different statuses, right, where you can hit those people. Now, depending on the size of listing and your budget, you want to be careful with that because it can get pretty pricey. But let's say you choose 500 records or 500 properties around the listing. Now you have an opportunity to go, bam, coming soon, right? And then from coming soon, the next thing is for sale or active, right? Then if you get it under contract, in escrow, right? And then once you get it sold, just sold, and you can show the price. And now you've got 3 to 4 opportunities to hit mailers and hit these people repeatedly, so they keep seeing your face and your name, and they go, "Hey, this guy's serious. This guy does a lot of business, or this gal is really, is a neighborhood specialist, or wow, they got a great price for that home. We should have them come work with us, right?"
And watch this. You want to really blow the cover off your just solds. Mm-hmm. Don't say just sold. Say, this is how we sold it. And give a rundown. Put this market on the, put this home on the market in March. For 3 weeks we held open houses. After the third week we had 4 offers. We negotiated 4 offers down to, 10% over asking. If you're looking for this type of result in your home, please reach out and call me today. Okay? That's a lot different than saying just sold. Right? And just sold, yeah, he sold the house. What you're doing is saying the house sold, not I sold the house. Right? And the moment you start telling people what you did, that's when they might say, you know what, I want to hire him or her because of what they've done. The fact that they sold a house, everybody sells houses. When you start telling them what you did, that's when you start to really create that interest in, I want that done for my house.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing like with open houses. When people, the neighbors come to open houses. Why would a neighbor come to an open house?
Well, number one, they want to see what their house might be worth in this market.
Number one answer. Like if we were playing Family Feud, that would be like ding 27. Okay. But after that, the next thing is they want to see who you are. Right? Maybe I am thinking about selling my house. If I'm thinking about selling my house in the neighborhood, probably the first person I'm going to go take a look at would be the newest listing agent in the neighborhood. I go over there, I'd talk to them, I'd talk them up, right? What's this home worth? How'd you come to that price? What do you think other homes are worth in the area? And what am I looking for? I'm looking for the positive nuggets. Is this somebody I want to work with? Or are they down and negative about the company, the home? Or are they actually saying, like giving you insight as to how you can buy this home at a lesser price? I've seen that happen. Where now that the person is sitting there going, okay, this isn't who I'm going to have represent me. Right? How professional are you at those open houses? And what questions are you asking? How are they walking in? What's the environment that people are walking into? Something you and I talk about quite often, and I focus 100% on my own business. I try to get agents to do this, is what is the experience? Okay, if I work with you, what is that experience to me? Because you can create that.
Absolutely, that's one way of marketing yourself.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're coming into an open house. Does the house smell good? Is there, music going on? Are there refreshments? Does it feel welcoming? Are you welcoming people? Are you creating a nice experience? The other thing that you can do, and now that we're touching on open houses, is creating a sort of open house event. Now, depending on what your budget is, the type of house, and things like that. And I've sold a lot of houses in Palos Verdes where there's big lots, and that poses opportunities to do sort of events, almost like mini parties in a sense, where PV is more of a family area, so there's lots of families with kids. You can have an event, let's say, with jumpers and a barbecue or a taco guy or whatever you can kind of create to create a buzz where people will want to come in. Whether you do that exclusively for the neighbors, you can do an exclusive neighbor preview and market to the neighbors and say you're invited to an exclusive twilight, let's say wine and cheese showing or whatever it is on a Friday evening at a twilight to come preview this home. Or you're doing it, generally for the public and saying, hey, come on down the open house. We got balloons, we got face painting, we got jumpers. And, if the neighborhood is full of kids, that's going to draw your neighbors. That's going to draw people from the street to come in and, obviously to sell the home. And it may not be the home for them, but they're going to sell yourself and going, wow, this realtor went all out and did all this to sell this home. This is the guy that I want, or this is the gal that I want to sell my property, right?
Absolutely.
So that's more marketing, leveraging yourself off of this one listing to create that buzz around you and your brand.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this the other day. You go to one open house, you're thinking about selling your house. You go to one open house, and this agent has jumpers, Santa Claus, hot chocolate, and like a party going on, right? And there's 25, 30 people there. You go to the next open house and there's a couple Arrowhead water. No.
Not even
Kirkland.
Kirkland Waters. It's
Kirkland
a better,
Waters.
better deal. And Kirkland cookies.
And Kirkland chocolate
I
chip
like Kirkland
cookies.
products.
Okay?
But
And who are you more impressed with? Okay, and our job is to stand out. Okay, our job is to stand one head above the rest. Okay, and stick out. How do we do that? It's one way. Okay, do you have to get a jumper and throw a huge party? No, there's a number of different ways you can do it. That's one. Okay, you can do, like you said.
or you can do a raffle too.
Raffles. Something I've done a couple times now is progressives, where I reach out to other open houses that are going to be open that day. Okay. I reach out to other open houses and I ask them, what are you, do you want to set up a progressive where we have 3 or 4 houses in a row where maybe we hand out a different card at each one, right? And you make everybody go to each one. Why? Because it's a game, but now you're promoting going to other open houses. So you're not saying I'm the only one, right? No, go see the other ones. Come back when you realize this is the nicest one. Okay?
And you need to know your competition too.
Absolutely.
If you're not
building
calling the other listing
camaraderie.
agents in the area, finding out about activity and what's going on with theirs, you're missing out. And then you can help each other sell your listing as well.
And you're building that camaraderie of interaction between you and the real estate community. That is it's the key to your business. Okay, the key to your business is being able to reach out to other agents and asking them what's going on, how's the market, what's happening, and having insight. Okay, and the more insight we have, the better you are to really give your clients the proper advice and not just what you think. It's what I know. Right? It's what's being said in the community. It's what we're all discussing. We're seeing this happen real time. Forget about what the news is saying. This is what we're dealing with on the street. And the only way to do that is interact with your fellow agents.
Very much so. And so we've got our open houses. We've got our marketing. We were doing our social media thing. We're creating a buzz on social media. Maybe inviting to this open house event. Creating these open house events to whatever your theme is. Other ways now to get in front of people, and maybe you're not the big social media person, which you need to be, but maybe you're like a little old school and you want to get out and door knock, which is fabulous because you're just getting face to face directly. Now you've got that media. Now you can create a nice flyer, a nice invitation for people, and you can go door to door. And I highly suggest you do it a day or two before the open house. Don't do the day of. The day of, you should be fresh and ready, getting to your listing 30 minutes to an hour before, making sure everything is set up, not sweaty and tired from 2 or 3 hours of door knocking the day prior, unless you have an assistant or somebody else that can go do that for you. But a couple days or a day in advance, you're out there, you're hitting the streets, and you're sending out these flyers, putting them on their doorstep. If they're not home, knocking the door, inviting them. And when you get in front of them, you're asking them 2 simple questions. Number 1, do you know anybody who's looking to move to the area? Okay. Number 2, have you ever had any thoughts of selling your home? Those are 2 very good open-ended questions that could definitely lead into you finding out maybe they do have somebody. And a lot of times, especially people who want their family to live by them. Maybe you have an older couple and they want their kids to move to the area. My mom is dying to get me to live in her neighborhood, and she's doing everything. I'm looking for a house now, and she's doing everything possible to show me listings that are in her neighborhood. And I'm like, no, but that happens, and a lot of times family will help families buy properties so they can be close together. So that's a huge one.
Make no mistake. When a realtor knocks on his mom's door and says, I listed a house just 3 doors up from you, she is going to call you and put the screws to you without even seeing it. She's going to say, I found your house.
Exactly. Okay? And if you go personally, now you're building a relationship with these people too, because they're going to be excited about the listing. And guess who they're going to end up working with? Right. If they decide to buy the property, they're probably going to end up working with you. And, who knows? They might need to sell another property to buy that property. Now you got your options for 2 potential deals, maybe 3. So it definitely pays, and it's a very simple task to get out and door knock and get in front of people, because the elderly lady or man or whatever, maybe they're not on social media. Maybe they don't check their email as much. Maybe they're not doing text messages. Maybe they have a flip phone, for Pete's sakes. So you're hitting different audiences depending on the type of prospecting that you're doing and marketing that you're doing.
And that's, it's funny because I was talking with an agent the other day and they asked me that question. What's the best way to prospect? I'm like, oof. That's such a loaded question because different people respond differently.
Right.
And, my answer is always, what would you respond to? Okay. And, in marketing, if you would be interested, okay, let me ask you this. What would you be more likely to respond to? A postcard that said, just sold, call me if you need to sell. Or just sold, this is how we did it, call me if you're interested.
Well, option 2, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe somebody else isn't.
Maybe they're just like, oh, just throw it away.
Right. So, one thing isn't right and wrong. It's just what you would respond to is what you're going to expect the result from.
Exactly.
Okay. And from there, and that's anything in marketing, your listing, your sales, anything like that. So to get your listing out in the public, what is your main focus? Is it social media? Is it mail? Okay, what is it? Now, that said, you have to do what you would expect from, but you also have to do some things that you might say, this is kind of the trend as well, right? Mm-hmm. So, say I love social media. I'm going to do all my stuff on social media. But to your point, my client may not be on social media. Mm-hmm. So I better get some mailers out there. Right. So I better get some mailers out there. Right. And I better get a couple emails out there. Maybe I can track that. The larger the net we throw, the better. Mm. And I'll tell you what, the best thing you can ever get is feedback from your seller that their neighbors are getting your marketing.
Oh, yeah, because if the neighbors are getting it, then they know that you're working hard for them, that you're putting in marketing dollars, and that you're a good agent. And then if you go into positions too, and God forbid you get a listing and your seller is very, very adamant on a certain price, and it's going to be overpriced, it's going to take longer to sell, but you still take the listing because you ain't got anything going on. When you've done all this marketing, and you want to go back to get a price reduction, now you can go back and say, I did A, B, C, D, E, and F. I've spent X amount of dollars. I've exhausted everybody in a 5-mile radius, and we still haven't got to your price, or we still don't have offers, or whatever the case may be. It's now time for a price reduction.
And it is.
It is. 100% it is. We could do a whole other podcast on prices.
Until then.
Yeah.
If I go, Amir, I put it on the market.
Yeah.
A sign was out front.
Yeah.
I did an open house.
Right.
We need to do a price reduction.
They're going to be like, well, you haven't worked hard enough.
You haven't worked hard enough. You haven't done enough.
Right.
Okay. When you come in, you say, I've done all of this and it's not sold. We need to make the next step. It's a logical step. It's
100%.
It's common sense. Because then they go, okay, well, if we've exhausted all those outlines, then we have to go to another position.
Exactly. And so you got, not to get off topic. So we're talking about leveraging ourselves. So we've done the door knocking is huge, right? We're talking about the different audiences. Yeah. Okay, let's say people are reluctant to answer the door, but they may answer the phone. So you should be getting a farm with phone numbers as well. And spending, as soon as the listing is launched, or maybe incoming, so spending that time to jump on the phone, or maybe even use a dialer, Red X, whatever you got going on to target these people and get on the phone, and you use a small script and just let them know you're a neighbor. I want to let you know about the latest listing in the neighborhood.
When a home lists in the market, 3 to 5 neighbors immediately start considering, should we sell our house? That's a fact. So if we're not reaching out to them and saying, this home is coming to market and this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to sell it, they're probably not going to come to you. They're going to go and look at someone else. And the first time you're going to see them is at the open house. And maybe you're flustered or you don't have your thing going on, and you might blow that. Okay, so there's a number of different opportunities that you're going to have to get in front of people. You have to utilize them all. Right? Like a fisherman. Right? They don't throw one hook. A professional fisherman doesn't throw one hook in the water. They throw a net. Right? And they pull in as many fish as they can, and then they figure out which ones they're going to keep and which ones they're going to throw back.
And the other thing too is that with that networking and making those phone calls or door knocking, whatever it is, you're always going to find the little old lady that's the gossip gal in the neighborhood that knows who's doing what, who's getting divorced, who just died, who's going to be selling. So if you connect with that lady or that guy, it's like gold, because they'll give you the insider scoop, because you've given them the insider scoop on the fact that you're selling your home, that listing, and now, so-and-so is going to do this, and so-and-so is going to do that. Oh, you should talk to them. And once you befriend that person, now you got the insider scoop. And every neighborhood has that one person.
I have a agent of mine years ago was out door knocking, had that situation. The guy says, you know what? I don't want to sell, but they really need to sell.
Yeah.
She says, okay, great. Went over, knocked on that door. There were renters. He called the owner. Owner said, absolutely, I want to sell. Okay. We put it on the market. A week later, he double-sided it to an investor. Investor flipped it, fixed it up. We put it back on the market and double-sided it again.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Right? The kid, was an $800,000 listing. In the end, he cleared nearly $5 million in total volume, which was just incredible. Off of a door knock of, I'm not interested, but you should talk to him, right?
Exactly.
And pointing 3 doors over. So it's those things. The neighborhood knows each other, man. They know who's on the outs and who's doing what.
And if you're not getting out there and doing this marketing, you're missing out on those opportunities. And that's why we're talking about this for you guys, is that we want you guys to maximize these opportunities to, get your name out there, make some friends in neighborhoods, especially ones that you want to continue to farm and continue to work in, and, create those relationships. And they may not want to sell now, but people that you can follow up with and say, I'm not ready now, maybe in 6 months, whatever it is. Now you can fill up your CRMs, have people to talk to. You made those calls, you've door knocked. Then we got some digital stuff, which is the email, e-blast. And that's like one of the cheapest and easiest ones to do, right? There's a couple systems you can use.
Yeah, there's a bunch. Like MailChimp,
Constant
Contact. If you're using a CRM, you probably have a mail blast on there. The other one that I absolutely love is the QR code.
Yeah.
Because right on your sign, that brings them right into your world. Okay. God knows we have spent gobbles of money on flyers over the past 20 years, kind of thing, and all you're doing is giving information. You're not getting anything. And our job, like, I can hand out 1,000 pieces of mail, but if nobody calls me back, I just handed 1,000 things out. If 1,000 people click my QR code and sign up, that's 1,000 people I can reach out to in a different manner. So think about, am I collecting or am I disseminating information? Because we really want to be collecting it.
Absolutely. So now when it comes to all that marketing, and then once you've kind of done that, now it's a follow-up game. So you're taking these people, these opportunity people you met at your open houses, these neighbors, all these things. You don't just collect them and you sell the house and then move on. You need to stay in front of these people. You need to keep putting yourself out there. If you don't have a listing in that neighborhood in the future, find out who does. Try to do their open houses. And when you do their open houses, guess what? You can do a lot of the same marketing again, once over again, for that open house by getting the farm, call them, guess what? I'm holding an open house at this XYZ property. Oh yeah, we met last time. Now I'm doing another one. Now you got some friends, you got some familiar faces, but you're staying top of mind with these people. And that's what a lot of this business is, because it's such a saturated market. for realtors is staying top of mind. How are you going to stay top of mind, especially in a neighborhood that you want to be continuing to farm and have continuous success in listings in? So, so that's another thing, is we can do this with our open houses moving forward, even not on our listings. And that's what I tell a lot of new agents. Just because you're doing an open house for somebody doesn't mean you just show up, 5 minutes early, throw a couple signs out and sit there, park yourself and wait. No, that once you get that opportunity starts a week out. Get your farms, start calling, let people know, hey, there's an open house. We're going to do this event. I got this. Come in. We're doing a raffle. I'd love to meet you. Even if you're not looking to sell, come by, check it out, see what's going on.
In the end, it's what would you be impressed by if you hired somebody and they were doing work for you? Okay, and and I always put it in that manner where it's what would I want to happen for my home, and by doing that, you can really show people you're working for them.
Exactly.
Anything else, you're just kind of doing the motions. So take a minute and really go over your marketing plan, right? And understand what it looks like. We have an 18-point marketing plan. Some of us have whittled it down to 10 points. Some people use a 12-point marketing plan. What does your marketing plan look like? Can you explain it? Do you believe in it? And even more so, is it prepared that if somebody says, yeah, come list my house, are you ready to go right now? Because most people are afraid to do the prospecting because they don't have everything ready to go in a moment's notice. You create everything to go and you're ready, and all of a sudden, all the conversations you have about listing that home are coming out of your information already. You're not making it up. It's actually proven information that you can bring to the table, show them what you're doing, and then bring them to the closing table.
So hopefully you guys have gotten some good tips and tricks for marketing yourselves and your listings, and you're going to use some of this stuff. Maybe you guys are already doing this stuff, and that's great, and maybe you picked up one nugget out of this or two. And if you're not doing any of this stuff, what are you doing? You're not doing the job. You're missing out, and we want you all to have great success in this. And thank you guys for watching and tuning in with us today. And we'll look forward to the next episode. We got another one coming up in a few weeks. And if you have any ideas about what you want us to talk about, feel free in the comment section. Throw in a topic that you want us to talk about, something that you might be struggling with. We'd be glad to do an episode on that.
Absolutely. And if you feel that you have something to add, send it in to us. We'd love to talk about it with you. Till then, have a great afternoon. It's always a pleasure, and we'll see you on the next episode.
We'll see you on the next episode, guys. Take care.